Level 1. The signature. You are 18 years old. You aren't legally allowed to buy a beer. You can't even rent a hotel room. But this morning, on a random Tuesday, a woman you just met is about to let you borrow $60,000. The financial aid office smells like burnt coffee and old carpet. Above you, a single fluorescent light is quietly flickering. It's the only sound in the room. The administrator sits behind a heavy metal desk. She doesn't look at you like a student. She looks at you like a completed task. She slides a 12-page packet across the table and taps a yellow highlighted line with her pen. "Sign here," she says. Her voice is completely flat. You pick up the pen. It feels heavy. You don't read the fine print on page 4. You don't know what unsubsidized 6.8% interest actually means in the real world. You just see the words mechanical engineering and think you are buying a guaranteed future. You think this is the ticket to a corner office and a paved driveway. You sign your name. The pen hits the desk with a soft click. That is the exact moment the trap closes. You stand up, shake her hand, and walk out into the bright campus sun, feeling like an adult. But here is the terrifying reality of the paper you left on that desk. The clock doesn't start when you graduate. It starts right now. Tonight, while you sleep on a cheap mattress in a cramped dorm room, while you eat instant noodles, that $60,000 will quietly start bleeding. It will start multiplying. You walked into that room as a student. You walked out as an asset on a bank's balance sheet. Level 2. The first paycheck trap. You are 22. It is a Friday night, and you are standing by the floor-to-ceiling window of your new downtown apartment. The city traffic is a slow-moving river of red and white lights 20 stories below you. The air smells like the expensive Thai takeout sitting on your kitchen island. You take a sip of a cold craft beer. The condensation drips onto your hand. For the first time in your life, you feel like you have actually arrived. You just deposited your first real paycheck, a $70,000 starting salary. When you saw that direct deposit hit your checking account yesterday, your brain did something dangerous. It translated a yearly salary into infinite permission. You immediately signed a lease for $1,800 a month. You financed a $19,300 car to match the apartment, telling yourself a reliable vehicle is just a professional necessity. You seamlessly added the premium gym membership, the streaming services, swiping exactly $4,616 on a new credit card because you thought you could pay it off any time. You are wearing the exact uniform of a successful young professional, but the uniform is rented. You set your beer down on the quartz countertop. Your phone vibrates. It is an email notification. Your first statement is ready. You walk over to the kitchen island and open your laptop. The bright white light of the screen casts a harsh shadow across your dimly lit living room. You log in to the student loan portal. The blue loading icon spins for 3 seconds. 3 seconds where you still innocently believe you owe exactly what you borrowed. Then the number populates. You expect to see $60,000. The number glaring back at you is $68,500. $68,500. You lean closer to the screen. There is no glitch. This is the cold mathematical reality of unsubsidized interest. For 4 years, while you were sitting in lecture halls, that original loan was silently compounding. It was feeding on itself. You haven't even made your first monthly payment, and you are already $8,500 deeper in the hole. You lean back in your chair. The apartment is dead silent. The Thai food suddenly smells sickeningly sweet. You thought you were building a life. You are just financing an illusion. Level 3. The wake-up call. You are 24 years old. It is 2:12 a.m. on a Tuesday. The only light in your living room is the pale, cold glow of your laptop screen. Around you sits the physical evidence of your success, the 70-inch television, the leather sofa, the keys to a car resting on the kitchen island. But tonight, none of it feels like an achievement. It feels like evidence at a crime scene. You have been working for 2 full years. You have done everything you were supposed to do. Every single month, without fail, you have made the $1,100 minimum payment on your student loans. You have handed over $26,400 in total. In your head, you feel lighter. You convinced yourself that you have made a massive dent in the cage. Then, you click on the amortization tab. Your breath catches in your throat. You click on the payment breakdown. Out of that $26,400 you bled for, exactly $18,112 never touched the principal. It was quietly swallowed by the lenders as interest. Only $8,288 actually went toward lowering your debt. The minimum payment was never designed to get you out of debt. It was mathematically engineered to keep you exactly where you are. You didn't buy your freedom, you just paid the bank's profit margin. You open a blank spreadsheet. For the first time in your adult life, you stop estimating, you stop lying to yourself. You type in the brutal, unforgiving truth. Student loan balance, $68,500. Car loan, $19,300. Credit card debt, from the takeout, the subscriptions, the weekends you used to buy temporary relief from the stress of your job, $4,616. You hit the sum button. The cell turns red. Negative $92,416. Minus $92,416. In the dead silence of the room, the truth finally settles over you. If you don't break this system is going to break you. Level 4, the pivot. 3 months later, the floor-to-ceiling windows are gone. You are sitting on the edge of a mattress in a 300-square-foot room. The walls are plain white drywall, and the single window looks out at a brick alleyway. The rent is $900. It smells faintly of bleach, not expensive Thai takeout. You look out that window at the parking lot. The shiny $19,000 vehicle you bought to look the part is gone. You sold it. You walked away from the $450 monthly car payment and bought an old, scratched-up commuter car with cash. The engine rattles, and when you pull up next to your coworkers at a red light, you purposefully look the other way. Your ego takes a beating every single morning. But you aren't playing for their validation anymore. You are playing the spreadsheet. You open your laptop. The glowing screen is the brightest thing in the room. You open a blank Excel sheet and become a ruthless auditor of your own life. The premium gym membership? Canceled. The streaming services? Gone. The $300 weekend dining budget? Slashed to zero. You realize how much of your income was leaking out just to sustain a performance. Between the rent reduction, the vanished car payment, and the purged expenses, you have forcefully extracted exactly $1,400 of free cash flow every single month. But having money and knowing how to deploy it are 2 different things. It is midnight. You are eating a cheap bowl of instant rice, tumbling down a YouTube rabbit hole of financial education. You watch videos of people dissecting compound interest and market index funds. You discover the Vanguard S&P 500 ETF, ticker symbol VOO, and learn that its microscopic 0.03% expense ratio means the broker won't bleed your returns dry. Armed with this new blueprint, you execute the master move. You take $900 of that freed cash and hurl it directly at your student loan principal, bypassing the bank's minimum payment trap entirely. Then you take the remaining $500 and set up a permanent automatic transfer into VOO. Old school advice tells you to wait until you are debt-free to invest, but you are running the parallel path. You sit back in the quiet room. You have zero status to the outside world, but for the first time in your life, your money is finally working for you. Level 5, the expansion. You are 26. 2 years of quiet, brutal consistency have passed. You are walking out of the glass double doors of your office building, holding a single sheet of paper. It is a promotion letter. Your salary just jumped from $70,000 to $90,000 a year. You step out into the corporate parking lot. The late afternoon sun reflects off the pristine hoods of your coworkers' financed luxury sedans and brand new electric SUVs. You walk past all of them. You unlock the door of your scratched-up, rattling commuter car. You sit in the faded fabric seat, and the engine struggles to turn over before finally catching. To anyone watching from the office windows, you look exactly the same as you did 2 years ago. You look like you are barely scraping by. But as you sit in that hot car holding that piece of paper, you smile, because you know a financial secret they don't. That promotion adds exactly $1,200 to your monthly take-home pay. The entire consumer economy expects you to immediately translate that money into an upgraded apartment or a new car payment. This is the silent killer called lifestyle creep, the psychological trap where your expenses always magically expand to consume your new income. But you refuse to play that game. You freeze your lifestyle entirely. You continue living in that 300-square-foot room. Instead of buying a new performance, you deploy the new cash flow like a tactician. You take $500 of that raise and add it to your Vanguard S&P 500 auto transfer, bringing your monthly investment to a flat $1,000. You take another $500 and hurl it at your student loans, bringing your aggressive debt destruction payment to $2,500 a month. Finally, you take the remaining $200 and open a high-yield savings account. It seems like a tiny trickle of cash, but you are quietly planting the seed for a future real estate down payment. You shift the old car into gear and drive out of the lot. Your coworkers are driving home to their expensive leases and expanding debts. You are driving home to a compounding spreadsheet. You are mastering the ultimate flex, choosing financial reality over the illusion of arriving. Level 6, the crossover point. 48 automatic bank transfers later, you haven't counted the days, but you have tracked every single dollar. Outside your window, 2 full winters have come and gone. Inside your 300-square-foot room, the only thing that has changed is the spreadsheet. It is a Tuesday night. You open your laptop, the familiar cold light washing over the plain white walls. You log into the student loan portal. You don't look at the amortization schedule anymore. You look straight at the total balance. The blue loading icon spins. The number that populates is not 68,000. It is exactly $0.00. 0.00. You don't throw a party. You don't call anyone. You just sit there and calculate the financial damage you avoided. By ruthlessly hurling $2,500 a month at the principal, you didn't just clear the debt, you surgically amputated 6.5 years of future payments. You starved the lender and saved exactly $24,312 in pure interest. That is $24,000 the bank mathematically expected to extract from your life, which you permanently blocked. But the real victory is not the zero. Traditional advice tells you to celebrate being debt-free. You know better. Being at zero with no money is just another form of vulnerability. You open a second tab. You log into your Vanguard account. Because you executed the parallel path, relentlessly investing while paying down debt, you are not starting from scratch. Staring back at you in bright green is your S&P 500 balance, $48,240. Over $12,000 of that is pure, unadulterated market gain. Next to it, your high-yield savings account holds exactly $5,120. 4 years ago, you sat in a dark room suffocating under a net worth of negative $92,416. Tonight, your net worth is a positive $53,360. You haven't just escaped the trap, you have crossed the zero line with violent momentum. You quietly close the laptop. The room goes dark. The defense is over. Now, the real game begins. Level 7. The final snowball. You are 30. 2 years have passed since you crossed the zero line. The moment that student loan vanished, the consumer economy expected you to upgrade your lifestyle. You didn't. Instead, you took the $2,500 that used to fight your debt and redirected it entirely into your high-yield savings account. Over 24 quiet months, you built a $60,000 war chest. You take that cash, but you do not buy a luxury single-family home. You buy a duplex. You move into Unit A. You rent out Unit B. The tenant's monthly rent check perfectly covers your entire mortgage and your property taxes. Through the strategy of house hacking, your housing expense drops to exactly $0. This is the moment the mathematical snowball becomes unstoppable. Because your living expenses have collapsed, you gather the $900 you used to pay for the single room, the $2,500 you used to pay the bank, and your existing $1,000 investment. You are now hurling a massive $4,400 into the Vanguard S&P 500 every single month. Combined with the $70,000 already compounding in your portfolio at a historical 9% return, the math is absolute. You will cross the $1 million net worth mark well before your 40th birthday. It is midnight. You are standing in the front yard of your duplex. The cool night air feels different now. You look over at Unit B. The light is on in the living room. You smile. That light means someone else is paying for your real estate, while your spreadsheet quietly compounds in the background. 12 years ago, you walked out of a financial aid office as an asset on a bank's balance sheet. Tonight, you are the architect of your own wealth.